So, no! Damn it! Damn you! My hummingbird story.
Oh my gosh.
From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Broadcasting from the churn, that's Jim, that's Whitney, I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
So the end of the story is, I'm drunk at a hibachi place, and I'm like, this is great. I'm having a great time. And my family's like, do you think you could do what this hibachi guy does? And I'm like, I have a fucking Blackstone. I can 100% do what this guy's doing.
This is Jim
I
with
can
the,
do
like,
it.
I'll fight a gorilla and beat them.
we almost, this is.
Oh, it's a Blackstone story.
So I was
we
like,
made it
I
2
can
episodes, and
100%
now I
do
gotta
it.
give Peter his dollar back.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I can do it.
Jesus.
Yeah,
I can do
Peter's
it.
like, why does Jim keep bringing up Blackstone and cooking?
Because
I
I'm
was
fucking
like,
awesome at it. So I get online and I order myself a hibachi hat, like a chef hat.
Good.
Because I don't want to just look silly trying to
Yeah.
do hibachi
No.
in a
You
Blackstone in
can't
my
do that.
backyard. Yeah.
Pay respect to the.
So it says it'll be
Career.
delivered tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Amazon. Way to go. I'm doing hibachi this weekend. Well, then the next day I get a text from my mom and it's her wearing my hibachi hat. And she goes, hey, did you forget to change your address?
I've done that. Oh,
Like,
that
God damn
sucks.
Yeah, so mom has a hibachi hat.
Good,
now.
good.
Now that I've sobered up, I'm like, maybe I don't care.
That's fun.
Also,
want this
there
thing
should
anyway.
definitely be pictures of your mom in a hibachi hat
Yeah.
on our Patreon.
Oh, yeah, I can do that right now.
Yeah.
I'll just go.
Yeah,
do
that should just
Let's do
exist
it.
on our Patreon.
That'll just be this episode. title.
Patreon.com/therapy.
Yeah.
Head on over there. See pics of Jim's mom in a hibachi hat.
And nothing else.
I didn't say it.
There's a level.
We didn't need to because we all knew he was
We
going
all
to
knew
finish
it
that.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just set me up. I'm like Michael Scott. It's like, oh, that's what she said. You're just jealous you didn't think of it first. Anyway, patreon.com/therapy. As we near the end of this magical mental health awareness month, you should know that if you that if you are the Thera producer, partner, or hire, you get to nominate a name for Emma's new horse. We are putting out a poll on the last day of May. This episode will air with some time to spare. If you are anywhere a member of our Patreon at any level, you will have access to the poll with all the nominee names. You can vote. It's winner take all. I am very excited for it.
That's
This
awesome.
is going to be a lot of fun. We've also had people feeding the pony.
Oh my gosh, it looks adorable.
It's been great. Yep. So videos have been going up on our Instagram page. If you'd like to see this pony eating, go to our Pod Therapy Guys Instagram and you can see videos of Emma feeding, I think both the ponies at this point. So a Sunny boy has just been spamming this fucking button.
Oh,
And
yeah.
just been like, feed the pony
Hey,
again.
Sonny.
Yeah, he wrote in pissed because he's like, the button only lets me check out once.
Aw.
It's like, okay. And he's like, well, I'm just going to donate to charity and you better fucking feed the horse. I'm like, okay.
Fine.
So he sent receipts. He's like, here's money. I gave it to charity.
That's
Feed the
so
fucking horse
sweet.
again. So it's pretty great. So
That is.
that's available on our store, patreon.com/therapy. You can see it all up there. If you are out there and you would like a free account, we have had some very generous folks this month donate a gift account. So we have the code ready to go. All you have to do is ping us. You can get a hold of us however you want to. Just email us and say, hey, I'll take one of those free accounts. We don't ask any questions. And we'll send you back the link. You click it. Boom, you're in. Nobody will know that you are using a free account, and we will forget within seconds, and it doesn't matter. We'll announce you as
I was about to
everybody
say,
else.
we also won't know.
We will guaranteed forget
Yeah.
that this even happens. So thank you to those who have been buying sponsorships. Thanks to those who are using the sponsorships. It's a great time, and we really do appreciate you. But the month is coming to an end, so we want that support. Get on there, patreon.com/therapy. And now you can choose the annual renewal option, and a lot of you have been, which is really cool. Make May your annual renewal month, and that way every year you'll get around to the May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and you'll be like, oh yeah, click the button, renew my membership, and go for another year. You get lots of extra content on our Patreon every week, just about. Every Monday we release new stuff. Nick, you had an episode where you interviewed the famous, the illustrious Slurpee Kai motherfucker.
Yeah, I feel like that was a couple weeks ago.
Slurpee's
Last
awesome.
week.
Was
Yeah.
it?
This
Okay.
week, my second installment of Artificial
yeah, that's
Intelligence
right.
and
Yeah, yeah,
Psychotherapy
yeah.
aired. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Good
one's been a lot of
conversation
fun.
with Slurpee. Definitely
Yeah.
worth the listen.
Yeah, Slurpee also has a great horse name that he has nominated. It is Slurpee's Horse Do Not Touch.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's just what he wants the name.
Good
There you
one.
go.
That's pretty
Just
solid.
Put that on.
Actually, Like that a lot.
It's a solid move. It's,
Yeah.
it's a very good move.
And Manu, if you're listening, we don't use that for the horse.
Yes, that's right. Anything that's left
Slurpee's
over.
baby, do not touch. It's just fine.
Jim will be fine with it. He like jokes. He's got a great sense of humor.
Oh, what about
Anyway.
rabid horse?
Oh, that would be great.
For
oh,
a
yeah.
baby?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Nick, I'm not a Patreon member. I can't nominate names for the horse. Anybody
Of course
can nominate
this is a
names for the
suggestion.
baby.
Yeah, that's wide open. That's open season. Anyway.
It's not great taste, but anyone can do it.
You should. Patreon.com/therapy. Thank you for all your support this month. And for the reviews, thank you for jumping onto Apple iTunes or on Spotify or on Good Pods and dropping us a review, giving us those stars. It does help us get noticed out in the world, and it's really, really great. So thank you for powering the show financially with your spirit. We love it. And we've got some great questions for
They don't
today's
money.
show.
It's with their money,
we
not
do
their
want money.
spirit.
Yeah, no
Like,
spirit.
the spirit's great.
Yeah. But
We'll take it.
Money
Money is what
helps.
That's what really runs the show.
Yeah. It turns out the internet hosting services that we use,
Yeah.
they don't take any spirit.
Right.
Yeah. They only
We've
Visa.
tried.
Yeah. I keep trying to send them checks with spirit. Not happening. First question on today's show, making friends with a colleague. Hi, Whitney, Nick, Jacob, and Jim.
Hello.
Hello. I've been listening to your podcast since before COVID, and it's left a huge impact on my life. Thought I'd toss in a question and get some advice. I'm a guy who is very easily impressed by people. I met someone in a professional setting a year and some change ago, and he is probably the most kind and humble person I've met. We've talked quite a bit since we first connected and try to hang out in person whenever our schedules allow, though it's not very often. As time has passed, I've started to care about him a lot on a personal level. I didn't have a lot of strong male role models growing up, so he's assumed that role for me quite easily. He's probably everything I want to be, and the more I sit on these feelings, the more I want to be around him all the time. I understand that I only witness parts of him and that he's not perfect. That's where the being impressed too easily part comes in. But I want to connect with him personally. I hope you'll believe me when I say that these feelings are just not romantic at all. I guess my question is, how do I deal with this mess of feelings? Is it appropriate to propose being friends and not just professional contacts? What if he doesn't feel the same way? It all sounds dumb for a guy who's nearly 30 to be feeling this way. But I lost access to the anonymous Gmail account I used to send in a question a few years ago. So this is your pal who is a hoe for Edgar Allan Poe. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. Love you all, especially Whitney.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Name that tune. There it is.
You are the wind beneath my wings. Jacob's good at that kazoo.
He's pretty damn good.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
I kind of want one of those to have the trombone slide on.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So they mentioned having an anonymous Gmail account. If somebody sends a question in anonymously, they're like, we don't see their email, right? Like
If they, yeah, great question. So if there's a link on our
so
description,
that would be a little confusing.
yeah. So on the website or in the episode description, no matter how you're listening to the pod, there's a link to a anonymous Google form. And so people can always submit there and we will only see whatever they wrote. It doesn't ask them to log into Google or anything like that.
Okay.
This writer used to go by the name Edgar Allan Ho and wrote in as Edgar Allan Ho and had a Gmail account called Edgar Allan Ho. And apparently he forgot the password.
Oh, okay.
And so now I think he just sent it in from his regular account, was like, hey, I've written in, I'm Edgar Allan Ho. So yeah.
Okay.
But by the way, if you don't tell us like to read your name in the email, even if you just send it into the email, we're not going to read it.
Yeah, your email could be jacobsmith@yahoo, and then you say,
gonna
please
make
de-identify me.
I'm gonna
Well,
make that one.
And honestly, by the time it gets copied and pasted into our shared
we
drive,
don't catch
we
your
don't
name.
know anyway.
Unless you put your name in the text,
Right, in
we
the
do
body
not
of the
notice
email.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
It's very easy to be anonymous. You will be accidentally anonymous.
Yes, yeah. You are
In your letter,
de-anonymized.
unless you identify yourself in your letter.
That's
Oh
right.
man. As far as making friends with colleagues, oh my gosh, the first job I had out here in Vegas at Eagle Quest, that was like the first big girl job I feel like I had is what I call like, okay, this is like
It's where you were raising eagles.
yeah.
Yeah.
So working there, I started, and this was probably like 2013, I guess. So Facebook was like very trendy still and all that stuff. And I was like, there's one case manager that had sent me a friend request, and I was like, do I cross that line? Do I cross that bound? Like, how do you decide? Because it's like, toothpaste out of the tube. You can't put it back in. So, so once you open up that door, it's like you can't really shut it without it being awkward. Right. And I know that's not exactly what this person's sharing, but it can make it tricky to navigate because you don't want to put other people in that position either. Like, hey, I think you're really cool. Like, should we be friends? And then they're thinking,
isn't that it's such an interesting energy, and I really like that Edgar gave us that energy from a masculine perspective. It does exist, and we don't talk about it a lot.
No,
but
that's true.
Girls will talk about this. They'll be like, oh my god, I have such a girl crush on this chick, she's so cool, and
let's hang out.
Let's hang out, I just love this girl, she's the best. And I think that's very normalized in girl culture. We see that in movies and stuff, and it's like a vibe, and you describe that, and other girls will be like, I totally get what you're talking about. I've had mad girl crushes. We don't talk about that a lot in masculine culture. And I really like that the writer talks about it because I think that this is really relatable. I do think that you bump into people occasionally with work or just in life, and you're like, this person's great. I would totally hang out with this person anytime they ever called. I like that person a lot. I'll tell you who I most recently remember having this kind of vibe with. It was last Scoop Fest, and you and I, Nick, we went to McMullen's with Scott. And we're hanging out with Scott for an hour and a half. And I'm just like, Scott fucking rules. This guy's so fucking cool. And we're just hanging out. He's telling stories, great vibe. And I'm just thinking to myself, I need to make sure that I link back up with Scott. This guy's fucking awesome. But just a great moment there where I'm like, this guy's great. I need to look for an excuse to be friends with that guy again and bump into him. And then I saw him at the Bucket Show. I was like, hey, buddy, it's great to see you again. He's like, hey, come with me to the bar. We're hanging out. I'll introduce my friends. Okay. And it's really cool to see him again. But it's that kind of energy that you bump into. And I think it's great that the writer talks about that. I relate to that.
Yeah, how do you pursue that without feeling
yeah, and I think with male culture, it's, you can't be as outward about it.
No, totally.
Yeah, girls, you can flatter each other. It's expected to flatter each other. With guys, I think you have to be more subdued, and you just don't do that.
Hey, nice dick.
Nice dick, bro. We're right it. Yeah, we should hang out,
I think beards get that's why you won't shave your face.
Yeah. Just keep touching each other. So, do you relate to this at all?
Yes, definitely, somewhat.
Definitely
maybe
somewhat.
That was a great Nick answer.
Yeah, there are definitely people that I meet and I kind of vibe with, and just kind of here's a good story. This is funny. So golf. I'm gonna bring up golf.
Oh, good. Okay,
yeah.
Hear me out.
Does Pete bet on this?
Does
Pete bet people $1 that
hear me out.
Nick's not gonna bring fucking golf up?
Nick's gonna cook on his Blackstone on the golf course.
So I was golfing.
It's attached to the
golf cart.
Just dragging a portable one, trailer hitch on the back of his golf cart, towing a Blackstone.
So me and
it is dangerous, by the way. That is very hot.
You should not do that.
It gets let go down the sidewalk.
One of the guys I golf with, he's from Wisconsin. I'm from Iowa.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Two peas in a pod.
We were out on the driving range, and the guy who was next to me at the driving range is like, hey, I think I know you. He's like, you play in the VGN, right? I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, yeah, I do too. I was like,
you're
oh,
on
cool.
Pod Therapy.
Yeah, so yeah, it's never that.
No, it's never Pod Therapy.
Sorry,
I know you owe me money.
Oh
shit. So anyway, we got to talking, whatever, and we had a guy cancel at the last minute, and he was just out hitting balls on the range. I was like, well, hey, if you want to play, we need another guy. He's like, all right, cool. So then he joined us. He's from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
So afterwards, we're hanging out at the bar, talking after the round, and we go into Midwest culture.
Okay. Yeah.
And I go
that's a whole bond for men, I think.
Yeah,
if you're from the Midwest, it's like we are connected.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, on the count of 3, what food do you all miss the most? 1, 2, 3.
Dick.
And no, all 3 was like cheese curds.
Cheese curds?
Yeah.
So yeah, basically dick cheese.
Yeah.
But
tastes the same.
So anyway, yeah. So there's sometimes you just kind of connect with people. Like you kind of got a history, or you kind of know from the same area, whatever. So I totally get that. But yeah, there is a different thing, I think, between men and women. Like, if a guy came up to me and was like, hey, can we be friends?
Right.
I'd probably be like, no. Simply because you asked me that.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to be friends.
Closed for business.
No. If you would have just been like, hey, let's go grab a beer. I'll be like, all right, cool, let's go do that.
That's the move.
Yeah.
That's don't confess.
You're like,
Well, women do that too. It's like, let's go get coffee. Let's do you want to go to this concert? I don't know, maybe not a concert, but if y'all had a connection over music, you'd probably ask the same thing. I think it'd be more intimate situations than like sitting side by side at a bar or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
recently did go through something similar with the coworkers. So at UNLV, I kind of started hanging out with the larger department and like some other like departments that are in this larger college. And so like I definitely met this guy. He's really cool. He's from the South. Just like we have a lot in common. He's a really nice guy. And I started thinking like, man, I just really like again.
I'll say, it's time to teach some therapy.
So I explained to him that I'm a Kentucky Colonel, and he was like, "Oh, great!" And I was like, "No, I literally carry a card on me at all times to prove this." And he's like, "No, I believe you. You don't have to show it to me."
which is a shortcut to we will not be friends.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to flex.
Like I've already told
I think
you.
if I could just like really impress this guy, he's like, "Oh shit, I got to hang out with the Kentucky Colonel." But yeah, super nice guy. But like, I totally get that energy that Edgar's talking about, where it's like, all right, dude, we work together. You know, like in our capacities, we don't work directly. Like he teaches his classes, I teach mine or whatever. We hang out in the same department. But then it's like that opportunity of like, hey, look, I do want to just like a lot of times I think coworkers are where you're going to make friends as an adult, right? I mean, just like that's where you spend 8 hours a day, you know, it's like where you bump into people.
Yep.
So like this advice that Edgar's talking about, like, when you're feeling that kind of emotional energy of like, hey, I really admire this guy, but like Edgar's also self-aware and able to say, hey man, I need to just like right size this because I get like this. You know, I developed the man crush. I think this person's really cool. I never had like the elder mentor dude, like older friend, older brother. And so like I'm enamored with this guy a little bit. I think he's great. And I just want to be around this dude and I want to hang out with him. And like, but in masculine culture, you can't telegraph that. You know, that's not usually going to work.
Let me clarify. It shouldn't be that way.
Right. We should be okay saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we should be just like, hey, you're cool. I like spending time with you. Let's hang out. Let's be friends.
I think we have our version of that. It's understated, but we have that version where you can kind of use humor, but you've got to be able to lay it on like that, where you could say, you're fucking awesome, man. Like, you know, you and the Wisconsin guy probably like yucking it up at some point. It's like, you're awesome, dude. Do you have a card or something? Like, I want to stay in touch. We should golf again. You know, like you can start that like nudge it into the next, like, let's bump into each other another time. Like, this was lovely. There's an energy to that where I think you can celebrate the person, but again, you have to keep a lid on that pot, like for it to pass the like comfortability test.
I've always found it too easier if there's multiple people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
hey, we're both into the
Yeah.
same, like we both like Dungeons and Dragons or something like that.
Come
like,
over.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got a group coming over. You should join us.
Yes.
You know, something like that. And it's easier sometimes for people to kind of ease into like a
I was going to say, too, you don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be
Course
like,
not.
hey, I like you.
Here's why.
I would really like to be friends. You could just say, hey,
You're great.
here's this thing that's happening. Let's go do it. You want to go? You want to go hang out and do this thing? That'd be awesome.
So a good line that this professor had used with me, where we're yucking it up at this
Stay away
meeting.
from me.
Stay away from me. I'm pressing
I
charges.
have a restraining order.
This is the last time I'm going to
TPO,
tell you.
that's what those letters
He's so
mean.
funny. He's always making these jokes.
Put that away.
But no, we were laughing about something
Don't
we had a
look at
lot
me
in
like
common,
that.
and we both kind of grown up in the same culture. And then it said something like, "Dude, why have we not gotten a beer yet?" And then, like, that was a great line because I was like, "Yes, let's do that, man."
Oh,
when do you
because
want
I
to do
dislike
it?
you.
That's right.
That's
yeah.
what I was saying. I'm like, well,
Oh, great
you wanna
question.
know?
Let me give you the answer. But I was like, perfect. Yeah, man, let's do it. And so he was like, great. When are you next on campus? Let's go grab beer. But like it very much turned into, and I think it made it a lot lighter, your point, Nick, about sometimes it breaks a little bit more ice to invite a third or to be like, oh yeah, this so-and-so. And that's exactly what happened. He was like, oh yeah, this other guy is going to, we were going to go out this other day. Why don't you come with us, dude? We're going to watch a Knights game and it's like grab a beer. And like, great. Okay, so like everything is advancing. Like the friendships are moving along. The pipes here, you're getting more and more comfortable with each other, and you have clearly expressed to everybody like, hey, you're great. I think this is fun. Let's keep doing this. I like that move. So there's enough of it that can be telegraphed that the other human receives as, oh great, we're getting along. Yeah, let's keep hanging out. But it doesn't, need to go much further than that as far as how much praise you're giving them. Because, sure. I mean, we're just not used to that in society. So I think it can be like, oh, am I mistaking this as a romantic thing? Like, are you trying to telegraph something more than you intend? And people are just not used to compliments anymore either. So I think that makes it harder.
What I like about that line too, why haven't we grabbed a beer yet, is if somebody is not wanting to hang out, like say they are just being nice, because that could be happening.
That could be happening.
For sure.
Yeah.
It gives the other person kind of an out to be like, I've been just so busy.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I'd love to, man, but yeah.
Gosh, I got a lot going on.
Right.
Or I can't really go out with people I work. I just don't cross that line. Like, I don't know. It gives,
Yeah,
which
I don't
like
really
this
go out
person-
with coworkers.
Whatever
I'm
it is.
moving to Africa on
Yeah.
Monday.
Now you got to sell all your shit and follow through on this lie.
My hair is disgusting.
That's the line Nick, that's the
Always
line Nick
wash
used
it.
on me. I know. I'm
I would
moving to
hang out,
Africa.
but that's the night I go hunting for scorpions in my backyard.
Do you want to come do it with me?
I mean, fucking yes! Like, that is a perfect guy date right there. You're like, oh, dude, we should hang out. Hey, man, I have a second pistol. Like, do you have a ghillie suit? Yes?
But I like that because it gives a soft out where it's
Yeah.
like, hey, we're still connecting. It's cool, but I'm kind of setting a boundary that feels not as like harsh or direct shutdown of some
Right.
sort.
Yeah. And I think finding that first like thing to go out and do together helps. Like for Nick and I, we started hanging out.
How'd y'all start dating?
Well, we just
Tell me
started
the
furiously
story.
having sex in the office.
Oh,
but it was
okay.
all business.
That's why one of you had to
All
quit.
business.
all
Okay,
business.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I think for us it started
It was
with,
like a mullet.
Yeah.
All business in the front, party in the back.
See, I was
Party in the back
"Hey."
door.
I was like, party in the back. Jacob
I think
said
if you
it.
can get like your coworker to go to lunch with you, that's a good first step. That's what we would do. Is I just be like,
Yeah,
oh, you know,
sneak to
hey man,
lunch.
you want to go get what did we used to go? We used to go to that pizza place. That shit. That was at
No, we
Vogue.
went to that Jewish bagel place.
Oh fuck, Bagel
Yeah.
Mania.
Yeah.
Jesus
Bagel
Christ.
mania.
Oh, diamond in the rough.
And there was that there was that
It
chicken
was-
place you guys used to talk about going to all the time, right? The ranch.
yeah, the chicken ranch.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, we went
They
there
have like
a lot.
sandwiches or
Great
something.
buffet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great
The great, that other sandwich place, Grinders. Remember that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
had
yeah, yeah.
really good hoagies. I liked that place a lot.
Thick.
Yeah. Thick hoagies. And then there was that other place, Chippendales. That
Yeah.
was nice too. Yeah, we went to a lot of places.
Yeah.
No, but Bagel Mania had that
Try the pasta.
pastrami sandwich.
Yeah,
Remember that shit?
yeah,
Fuck. It was so good. And anything you ordered came with a bagel. Like, it didn't matter what you got. Got a salad, came with an everything
I mean,
bagel.
that is an appropriately named place.
They were not fucking around on that bagel. man.
Everything.
So, Edgar, if you could do that move, I think that's a great, like, mid-work week kind of thing of like, oh, dude, there's, find a place that you like in the area that you've heard about.
Yeah, like an
strike up a
after-work
conversation.
cocktail, anything like that. Yeah.
Anytime you can parlay it right out of work or mid-work day and just start there, I think that's a great way to take that first step of like, this is a thing that coworkers would do. We're just kicking it, right? But like, and it's also a discrete period of time. It's like, yeah, it's going to be 90 minutes. We got it back on the clock, And so that's nice because like you just get to dabble in it, and then you like let them make the next move. They're like, oh yeah, that was great, man. We should go back.
You can also just do it like we've talked about it on Ice Cream Social in the past. Matt has especially about when you're asking someone out on an early date. You could take kind of a similar tact here.
Okay.
Find something that you want to do and invite him. Like,
Because you're going to go anyway.
I want to go play Top Golf.
Yeah.
Let's see if Bob wants to go play Top Golf too.
Okay. I like that. Yeah.
I think being more intentional because Edgar Allan Poe already said that they do kind of hang out outside of work. It's just not very often because their schedules don't align.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think being more intentional and asking a little more often. But if you're still getting like, oh, I'm busy.
Yeah,
they may
you
just,
got to just take
they may
that
not
as
want
all right.
to, and that's really hard to accept. I mean, I've been there
Don't
too.
take it as rejection, though.
It's not rejection. The way I view it, like I've had this happen before. My mentality though was like, oh my gosh, they are just way cooler than me. Like I don't even deserve to be around them. But we'd still hang out like in group settings, whatever. But I feel like over time when there isn't that outreach anymore, like your schedules aren't aligning or whatever, it's a little bit of like a grief twinge. Like you're like, oh, you're sad. You're like, I don't know. I guess that's the best way I can word it. It sounds like over dramatic, but it does because you have these connections.
It feels like rejection.
Right. Well, I don't even want to call it I guess a little bit, but it doesn't feel as direct as rejection. It's more just sadness.
Rejection.
A little dusting, a little
Yeah.
sprinkling of
No.
rejection. You're like, oh, I'm not worth it for them to make that extra time.
Yeah.
But it's more like just sad that it didn't work out for whatever reason, whether they didn't want to or just our schedules didn't work out, like whatever. But
I think it's also
sad.
a bandwidth thing. So like for me, I have a very limited, like I'm an extrovert, I guess, But like, I have a very limited bandwidth of how much I can actually be out among people. Like even at Scoop Fest, like usually in the parking lot of Scoop Fest, I'll get with other hosts and I'll be like, all right, so at some point I'm just going to disappear. I'm fine. I'm probably hiding in the hallway. You know, like you'll just text me if you need me. Like I'm nearby. Like, I can come
I
find
didn't
you.
fall off the
Yeah, if
face
there's a
there.
photo you want me to take or whatever, just I'm probably hiding. And it's funny because even as I told this story about Scott, like being at the Bucket Show, he's like, yeah, man, come over here. We're doing like this thing. My buddies are over here. I'll introduce you. My wife's there. You meet her. I'm like, great. So I come over there. I say hi to them. I left within 10 minutes and then just went home. Like I didn't do anything.
At Scoop Fest?
But that was a lot for me. I was like, yay.
Yeah.
Like I did things. I said hi to new people. Bye. And I got the hell out of there because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just stand here.
Right.
I don't want to make small talk. I feel uncomfortable, so I ran. So yeah, a person could still have like a very limited bandwidth and like that have nothing to do with them pulling away from
Yeah.
you. It's just like they're just not going out a lot, you know? And so like you got to take that as sort of like, all right, I may already be this person's most regular hang.
Yeah.
That I see them infrequently, like every once in a while. Like, okay, that might be it.
Yeah, I agree. I think just kind of grappling with those feelings can be tough.
Yeah.
But I think, like what Jacob said, asking them to a few more things and feel it out. And if they really aren't responding, then
Yeah.
kind of back off a little and just work on accepting that I guess rejection. If you wanna call it.
But
Passive
I
rejection,
definitely
can
like
that be a new
looking
term?
for opportunities, especially like, oh, we're all going to get together and watch the NBA finals or like something that has that like kind of third
Camaraderie.
party angle to it. That's like, oh, this isn't about just hanging out. It's a collaborative thing. You're
no
welcome to come
pressure.
over. Yeah. Like, I think that's a great way to just
There's a
meet
new
people.
pizza place. We're all going to check it out.
Go check out this
So
place
many
with
pizza
us.
places in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Go into this brand new.
We had Naked City Pizza today.
I don't care for Naked City pizza.
I don't care for you.
Where's
All right.
where's
well,
I'm gonna
there
look
it
it up.
is.
There's several locations now.
Oh, there are?
They mainly sell out of bars and everything.
Yeah, they
Oh.
usually do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
They kind of sublet a bar, which
Naked City
I think it's a
Pizza.
fine bar food. Like it
It's
is
a
gourmet.
It's a Detroit style pizza.
Yeah, it's gourmet.
So if you
you're
don't like
hanging
that,
out at
it's
a
a little
bar,
thicker and everything.
It's very
Yeah.
thick. Yeah, it's very bready. Which I didn't know that was
Oh.
Detroit. Okay,
I believe their style is considered a Detroit style.
all right. Well, it is distinct. So
Yeah.
I would not. Will you do a Chicago style pizza?
Oh, yeah.
The deep dish.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I
That's
mean, yeah,
where-
like when I want that, like
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
want the pizza soup, it's awesome.
That's what I was gonna say. It's just like
Yeah.
All pizzas
Sauce.
stacked together. You've got to order. We're going with the average of your preference.
I
What's your
honestly
go-to?
don't care.
I'm like,
I just want it to be like as long as it's good. I'm really happy.
I want that.
The style matters a lot
cross-cut,
less to me.
Thin crust.
Nice.
That's
Santabello.
the crispy.
Yeah, those are
that's
really good.
what's up.
I like those a
Santabello's
lot.
So good.
What's a
Santabello?
Santabello?
Oh my
Santabello?
Settabello.
What is that?
Their toppings
It's
are
a-
so good.
It's
Oh,
a
it's a
restaurant
place? Okay.
place. There's 2 locations in Vegas. They import their ingredients from Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like-
really good. It's that thin crust. They like
Yeah,
wood
like
fire
that.
for a
It's
minute.
like Neapolitan,
Yeah.
true
Okay.
Neapolitan style.
So it's
pizza.
chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
Correct.
Right,
Whoa,
exactly.
Damn, that's pretty cool, man.
Yes.
From Italy, too.
Yes.
Anyway, Edgar, good luck with that. Order your shit online and buy it from Italy. Taking a quick break. When we come back, we're talking about ending therapy. Yeah, why not? You're listening to
Goodbye.
Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by
I really
Robert
wish I had a record scratch.
Brownie, Jr., Vince, Kayla
so
Lansbury,
good.
Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, Heyo, and Andrew Langmead. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can become a therapy producer by signing up at patreon.com/therapy.
Do it. It's Mental Health Awareness Month. Sign up
Okay.
for a year.
We got some Y2K trivia for you.
yes.
I've been listening to throwback music all week, the last week and a half. It's like
Okay.
2000s and 90s, like popular songs.
That's
It
my
has
standard
been the
playlist.
best. I'm
My
like,
standard playlist is hits from the early 2000s.
I
Oh.
was just recently, actually this morning, listening to a mix of summertime 80s hits.
Okay.
Nick's such an 80s baby.
Yeah.
You love that shit.
Ah, okay.
Cruel Summer by Bananarama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is a cruel summer.
Okay.
Isn't there a remake?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the one I
there
know.
was. Yeah,
I'm
I know.
like, that's the one I know. Who
Okay.
sings-
Oh, by the way, I found a kazoo a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Good.
It has an electronic pickup.
He's going to go right into the system.
I can plug right into the console.
Oh my god.
With distortion. Can you get effects?
Oh, I can put effects on it.
Fuck yes. Dude, you're going to be cramming out solos. Like,
Yeah.
you need to do that shit all
I might
day.
do an album.
Do free burn. That's a great idea.
That's what this podcast needed.
That's honestly.
been
Who else
missing.
has that?
It's the new intro music. All of Freebird.
Finally, y'all didn't have to do anything.
Every episode, he just picks the longest fucking song.
The extended version of American Pie.
Yeah, there-
Oh, no, I'm only going to record Freebird once. I'm not playing it every week.
All of Hamilton.
I just went and saw that.
Welcome to
for the
Pod Therapy.
first
Oh, yeah, I
time.
saw that at
Yes,
Smith
I've
Center.
never seen it before.
How'd you like it?
It was good. It was a little hard to understand.
Yeah, it's
for
in
me.
English,
Oh.
old English.
No.
Yeah, a lot.
No,
of
I just think we're deaf because we're old. I'm
that
like,
too.
what did he say?
you got to get one of those horns.
Yeah.
Stick
That's
in
it.
your ear. Where are the closed captions?
Y2K, huh?
Okay, Whitney.
Oh, yay.
Which low carbohydrate diet trend, originally created by a cardiologist, became hugely popular in
I
the
know this
early
one.
2000s
The Atkins.
for
diet.
people trying to lose weight?
I'm going for 2 Atkins.
Correct.
Nailed
Wow.
it. The Santa Clarita diet.
Jacob's face looks like the most dumbfounded I've ever
You
I
didn't
would
know?
not have gotten that.
Oh, wow.
I've heard of the Atkins diet, but I
Oh,
didn't know a single one of those details.
Yeah.
Jacob,
Yes.
which city hosted the Summer Olympic Games in the year 2000, celebrating the start of the new millennium?
Oh, boy.
Shit.
oh,
Athens?
2000. Oh. That's right.
Final guess?
It's
Yeah.
got to be it.
No.
Oh, my God.
I know they did. Maybe it was like an Olympic centennial that they did. In
I think it
Athens.
was
It was
maybe
around
4.
there.
I think it was 2004 or something. Shit. Comes to me. I'll
For the
take
steal?
options. I
I don't know this one either.
Athens,
Okay, not that one.
Sydney,
probably Athens.
Atlanta, or Beijing?
Oh my God. Oh boy, I remember the Beijing thing being big, but I don't know if it was 2000.
No. And
No, they had
96,
drones.
wasn't 96 Atlanta?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Atlanta off the list and Beijing off the list. That leaves Sydney. I'll go with Sydney.
Correct.
Yes!
All right.
Give me that 1 point.
Okay.
Back to Jim.
Which brand's mesh trucker hats became a celebrity trend in the early 2000s?
I got 2
often
points.
seen on stars like Ashton Kutcher or Paris Hilton.
Oh my God. I'm going to need options.
Ah, can I steal it before you have options?
I wish I knew the
You can
I'm
write
just
down your
kidding.
answer.
Okay,
You
hold
can
on.
prove that you
Let
know.
me text Nick.
Okay, that's
me
fine.
text
Just write it down
Yeah.
in your phone.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, no, because I could delete it.
I'll stall for time.
No,
Oh
it's
my
fine.
God.
No, don't stall for time.
Give me
No,
options.
just
I think we all
fine.
trust her. It's fine.
Von Dutch, Nike, Gucci, Ed Hardy.
Oh, fuck. I'm stuck between Ed Hardy and Von Dutch. I feel like, shit. I think Ed Hardy was T-shirts. I think everybody's like into these douchebag Ed Hardy shirts. Give me Van Dutch.
I'm sorry, it was Von Dutch.
Shit.
So close.
That's all right.
So close.
I'm just happy to be nominated.
Almost not even fair.
Yeah, almost.
All
They're
right.
definitely Ed Hardy hats.
End of round one.
All right.
yeah,
Jim's
there are
got
a lot
2.
of Ed Hardy hats.
Ed Hardy. Oh my gosh. Peter used to buy Christian Audige and Ed Hardy shit and wear it to the casino just to piss people off.
right. I knew that. Yeah.
Like his personality wouldn't even have to change. Just sitting there, people be so pissed if he won like at a
Jeez.
table.
Yeah.
They just like go all in, and he's
Oh,
like, "Thank you for all
douchebag.
that money. It was worth the investment." He went on eBay and bought it all. It was
Right.
like so great.
Just trolling people.
I think he had shiny gold shoes to go.
Oh,
with it, too.
good.
Yeah.
He knew the assignment. Ending therapy. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this wonderful podcast. What a fabulous combo of advice, empathy, humor, and nonsense. My question for you all is there a rule about how long to stay in therapy? My wife has been going to the same therapist for over a year, and in that time, she's functionally improved. She's happier, engaged in hobbies, getting more done. Recently, her therapist brought up graduating from therapy, a concept that's new to me. And I've been in weekly therapy for over 5 years, and my therapist never mentioned that. That's because you got fucking work to do.
I see what this is about. Right,
yeah.
and what this emotion is called is jealousy.
Yeah, and you know that if you worked harder in therapy. My wife doesn't want to stop going to therapy, but at the same time, from what she tells me, it seems like these days they are just kind of checking in and talking about life, cats, video games. Her therapist told her that she doesn't meet medical necessity because she's not clinically impaired anymore, and that this is a good thing. But my wife feels sad to lose a regular place to share her stories and feel supported by a kind person who knows her so well. At her last session, her therapist brought up creating an aftercare plan, and this made the impending loss feel super real. Another factor here is that we use Medicaid to pay for therapy, and her therapist has mentioned that insurance doesn't usually cover long-term therapy. So, why have I been able to get therapy for 5 years? Is this just different therapist philosophies? Should my wife try to convince her therapist to keep seeing her? Thanks for your thoughts. Sincerely, forever on the couch.
Tell your wife we will never leave her. So tell her to tune in.
That's right. 8 years the show's been going. We'll just replace the other
Whatever
one.
your copay is, just make it Patreon.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
It's Medicaid. Well,
yeah, no copay.
Yeah.
But still send money.
You know what my joke was.
I do. I couldn't help it though. I was like, well.
You get well actually by
Well,
insurance,
actually.
Whitney.
Wow.
You gymmed it.
If I know one thing, it's insurance. Yeah, this is something that can feel awkward sometimes for me as a clinician with clients, especially taking insurance.
Yep.
But to be honest, even with my clients who maybe they're out of pocket, because I have a few, if they reach a point or when they reach a point that I do feel like we're kind of just chatting.
Gliding, yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, when we reach that point, I'll basically check in with them and ask them. Usually I taper. So
Okay.
I'll be like, hey, instead of just like a hard, all right, we see
Bye.
every week, no more. Yeah, we'll kind of taper down. Like, you're doing well. Let's see how you do every other week for, 2 months. And if that feels good, like, let's try every 3 or 4 weeks, like, depending on how they feel. I've even
That's what I was going to suggest, too. Yeah.
And then I have one client right now. This is a little different. She just checks in every 3 months right now because she was doing so good. And it's like when they come in and they maybe don't have much to talk about, or it turns into just shooting the shit. It's like, yeah, we have to show improvement because insurance does want to see that. I guess I don't know about Medicaid specifically. In my opinion, the little bit I know about Medicaid, they would appreciate that. They're asking for medical necessity for that often. So you're asking for units of therapy. And so if you ask for less, that looks like improvement. So within that 90-day period, if you're not meeting every week, then or 12 sessions or whatever,
they'll usually give you a basket. They'll say, you have 12 sessions, you can use them at the speed you want to. But it's also kind of a trap because if you're using one a month, they're going to go, how could this person be medically required to see a therapist if their condition is so low acuity that they can go 3 weeks without seeing you, right?
That's true. That is
then
definitely...
you usually need to go back to back and go week to week to week.
Yeah.
That is the course of treatment. But then Medicaid or any insurance eventually starts to say, hey, look,
you can do it for
where
a
are
long
we going
time.
with this? Is this patient getting better? Is this patient getting worse? If they're getting worse, do we need to start talking about getting them into an IOP or something? Or do they have a unique long-term chronic condition that you feel like they're always going to need treatment for? And is that something you're documenting?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're not. A lot of times we're like, no, this person went through an episode of depression, or it's kind of episodic, and sometimes they need to jump back in. Sometimes
we can't
they don't.
predict if that's going to be long term.
Right.
You're like, I mean,
or sometimes those symptoms go into remission, and we're just sort of like, well, I'm just kind of keeping it in remission for right now. And you're telling the insurance, hey, all cards on the table, symptoms are low, and I consider this in remission, and we're working on it. And sometimes the insurance will go, all right, carry on. Our current administration in this state is pretty pro just doing mental health. So we're not nickel and diming you, but it is very common among anybody who bills insurance, especially federal insurances like Medicaid and Medicare. They're highly scrutinized. And so they are going to say, hey, we should only be doing this when there's a medical necessity. And by the way, there's a strong argument, and I think many therapists in our field believe this, and I think there's a strong point to this, where they'll say that is what is not just correct, but is ethical. That is the right. We are healthcare providers. If your patient's like, boy, you're my favorite regular doctor, I want to come in every week and just get my temperature taken by you and just kind of check in. You would say, hey, are you doing harm to this patient by doing that? You're giving them space on this thing. You're providing a healthcare service when they don't need it, when they're well. Is that correct? And so there is a philosophy and an ethical argument that says we should be wrapping this up as soon as is realistic.
Yeah.
But I know for a lot of us, for me, my model is completely non-insurance. And part of that is because I fundamentally, philosophically disagree with that argument. I do not want the insurance telling me or the patient how often we're going to utilize this.
Yeah.
But I also establish at my practice, I don't do weeklies. So I don't tell them you're my Wednesdays at 4.
Yeah.
I tell them that was this was great. I'm happy to work with you. Here's my recommendation for what you're going through right now. Like, here's how often I think we should be seeing each other. But then I leave it completely open, and I'm like, here's the website, here's the calendar. You make an appointment whenever this is on your mind and you feel like, I want to keep going. And that way, like, I will have people that kind of go on to more of the carousel approach where I was seeing them every week, and then they self-taper.
Yeah.
But like, we never had to talk about that.
Yeah.
They just don't need to come
They
in
just
right
don't
now.
show up again.
And then I'm like,
Yeah.
great. And then all of a sudden I'll see them a month later and I'll go, hey, it's been about a month. Let's get caught up. And how have things been going? They're like, I was going really good for 3 weeks. And then things got weird. I'm like, okay, great, man. Let's pop right into it, right? And so like that for me is something I'm allowed to do, and I can have people quote unquote for years, but I'm not seeing them weekly for years. But
Yeah.
like they're under my care for years, and we just never invited insurance to be part of that relationship. So like we have that freedom.
Yeah.
But when you do have insurance as a big part of this relationship, Ryder, this is a normal and ethical thing for them to want.
Yeah. I always joke with my clients. I'm like, I'm putting myself out of a job.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, never
I've got to
thought
work
about
myself
that.
out of a job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that approach because it's clinically based, not managed care based.
Right.
You know, and the thing is too, it's like to kind of put this in like a medical perspective, what you're doing is you're providing the right dose at the right frequency.
There it is. Yep.
So it's not,
Yeah.
you know, because a lot of times, and this used to be very big back in the day, it's less so now, but there was always a fail first philosophy.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So
Gosh.
before you can do this intensity, you have to fail first at this one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we don't do that in any other healthcare
Right.
model.
Oh, the patient died at chemo 1.
Yeah, like-
so don't do that. Like, now you can go to
well,
chemo
or
2.
like, the person's got a broken arm.
Right.
Okay, well, we have to try to
Let's
just
try a splint.
put in a splint
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
can do a cast. Like,
Right.
that's absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
You're providing the right dose at the right frequency based off the condition of the patient. And as the condition of the patient changes, then you modify treatment.
Right.
You know, and this is where I did already talk about golf. So the other thing I have to talk about is treatment planning.
Oh, good.
Check. Where's the
yep.
bingo card for now?
Yeah, yeah. That should be on our
This is
bingo
where
card.
having a treatment plan is incredibly useful. So
Yeah.
you can track stuff like this, and you can not get lost in the weeds and just kind of like, all right, what are we doing today? What are we talking about? But we can actually say, okay, here are our goals. These are the things that we're trying to accomplish. We can track and monitor this over time, and then it gives us something to like shoot for. And we know that we can decrease our sessions because symptoms are decreasing, functioning is improving, and we're achieving our treatment plan objectives.
Right.
You know, and so you've got something that you can go off of. Now, I get it, like from, you know, your wife's perspective that like, yeah, you've been doing this for so long, it's kind of your comfort food.
Part of your
Like
maintenance.
it's
Great.
what
Well,
works for you.
And it sounds like your wife made real. You say your wife made real progress.
Yeah.
In this therapy. So I mean, I imagine she has fond feelings for the therapist and
Yeah.
for the experience of going to therapy,
Yeah.
or whatever frequency she's going right now. I mean, if you tell me like, hey, this thing that you enjoy doing that you do regularly, I would like you to not do it regularly anymore.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
It is a weird
That's
philosophy.
a weird thing to ask of somebody with anything.
It's
Yeah.
a weird philosophy to be like, oh, this thing works really well. Let's stop doing
Stop
it.
Right.
doing it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that with medication.
Right. But no, that is the
I don't
exact
think you know about this
example.
current administration.
Yeah. That's a good point too. No, but you just nailed it. Like, we would not do this with antidepressants. We would not
Right.
be like, great, so you've been on these antidepressants for 5 years and the symptoms haven't come back, so let's stop the
Let's see how
medicine.
they goes without
But the
it.
insurance would make that argument with therapy, but they would never dare to make that argument with anything else. Like, oh, it's still working, keep doing it. You know, but
Yeah.
like
I like to
with
think
therapy,
that the
they're like,
insurance
go and
company
discontinue.
thinks so much of you guys.
That's it. They
that
want to
they're like,
preserve our
these
time.
people are capable
Yeah.
of just fixing these problems.
That's right, like a genie.
Yeah, they
No,
have been
that's-
fixed.
it's a good
Go
point.
out into the world.
Yeah, be free. So, Ryder, I mean, as far as your side of the street, where you're looking at this and going, you know, I too am using Medicaid, and here we are. I'm 5 years deep with my therapist. We're not talking about me leaving. There can be multiple reasons for that. You mentioned one of them, which is like the philosophy of the provider. So, it goes down to, like, I definitely know providers who are very strict about this, and they're like, look, usually the insurance is going to be the first one to bring this up. They're going to be, because every so many uses of therapy, the therapist has to go back to the insurance and say, can I have another 12? And every time they do this, the insurance usually will say, you have some splaining to do. Like, let's get on the same page, make sure that we know what's going on. And so the therapist will usually only be willing to go back to the well so many times, because every time they do, they kind of get harassed a little bit more. Yeah, it's a lot of work. And so in this case, Ryder, I would get the impression that maybe your therapist isn't getting any business or any rough business from the insurance. They're not getting harassed at all. And maybe the diagnosis they have for you is something chronic and something that the insurance just has a policy where they're like, yeah, that's fine. You know, like, I don't know. I mean, like, some states have different, like, policies where they're targeting certain issues. So, like, I know that Nevada started being very aggressive with opioids, you know, and, like, dealing with painkillers, because we're one of the only states that it's actually increasing, like, opioid overdoses are increasing. So, like, for our Medicaids, in our insurances, they're like being a lot more generous with how many units they're approving for that. And they're asking a lot less questions, because I think they're looking at that and they're like, dude, if you are a painkiller addict who's just doing weekly outpatient therapy, cool, you're the cheapest you'll ever be for that insurance. Like, they are psyched. Like, stay sober forever. Like, just you can marry this therapist and keep them. We'll pay for the wedding. Like, it is cheaper than you going to the ER one time.
You want to go to Aruba and get married there?
It's fine. It's all inside. So it could be something, Ryder, where it's like, in your state, for whatever reason, the code that's written down by the therapist is just something that you know, insurance or just doesn't really question right now. They don't care. It could be something where your therapist just has a little bit more of a looser philosophy. They don't mind going to the well over and over, and until somebody stops them, they're just going to keep doing it. Or there's no pressure. And that's another thing too, is like, if you're showing up and the therapist feels like, hey, you're using therapy, we're not just gliding, then they're not, you know, going to say, hey, we should stop seeing each other. And like, I've definitely told patients, like, hey, even though I see you pretty irregularly, I do think we're at a stopping point and we should go ahead and pause this work and resume it in the future if you ever need to. I've had that conversation, not because of any external pressure from a third-party payer, but because I've sized up the case and thought, okay, I think that I'm just a security blanket at this point. I think it's in your best clinical interest to do without this for a while, and let's see how that goes. You know, because I want you to sort of learn how to swim on your own here, and then let's come back in a quarter and find out how that went for you, right?
Yeah, I would definitely, I don't know, from the writer's perspective, what is it that you feel? Like, do you feel like you can kind of start to take a break? Do you feel like you can kind of start to step back? Or are you afraid of doing that? Like, I'm not really sure from the writer what they want. But one thing I will say is, don't compare your treatment to your wife's treatment.
Good point.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of apples and oranges. Everybody's going to be a little bit different.
It is. Yeah.
Definitely worth asking your therapist.
Yeah, and a really great question. You know, it gives us a chance to talk about something that's very important to the whole process, and it is very in the weeds. It is very confusing. And here you have, you know, a Medicaid to Medicaid example, husband and wife literally going long term, and getting different recommendations at this point and getting a different administrative experience. That will happen. But the fact that both of you found good therapists that you've partnered with and had real success with,
great.
I love reading that, you know, because a lot of times that's not the story we hear. So that's huge, Ryder, and I'm really glad for that. And if your wife doesn't already listen to Pod Therapy, now's the time. Patreon.com/therapy. For as little as $1, you could just be part of the show. Or you don't pay anything. Turns out the show's free. Also, we mentioned bingo cards. If you go into this episode description, if you're listening on the main show, go into the episode description. There is a link to a live bingo game that you can play while listening to Pod Therapy. It is called Jim's Neurotic Bingo. It was made by Manu and Jim a long time ago.
Aww.
And so a lot of the squares are probably things that were relevant in like 2021.
Yeah, Blackstone's not on there.
Blackstone's
you can
not
sub
on there.
Blackstone in for one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the free space in the middle.
That's a free space,
But-
It probably needs an update.
Is there a Jim's mustache talk?
I don't
in the
know.
old one?
I think it predates the mustache.
Oh, okay.
I think it does. I think there's a lot of like references to Pello.
I don't remember times before the mustache.
Yeah,
Your
Paulie
son
Mustang
fixing
was on
everything.
there. No, he was just a boy back then. He wasn't the strapping man that he is today. Building
He wasn't the
shit.
man of the house.
He wasn't the man of the house. It's just a child back then, just a wee lad. Anyway, Ryder, thank you for this question.
Not sure why
Good
you did
luck
that
on
accent.
this. And hopefully this is something that, you know, you continue to get the help that you need. And you know, your wife kind of finds the next thing. And that might be a support group. It might just be something that is a little less clinical, but still gives her that ability to kind of get engaged.
Consistency.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, with a community. And that honestly could be our Discord. I think a lot of people just use our Discord for that. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, because of Whitney, we're talking about brain spotting and trauma. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Browning Jr., Men's Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, Heyo, and Andrew Andrew Langmead. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can become a therapy producer by signing up at patreon.com/therapy.
Y2 Kizzle.
Okay. Whitney,
Ken.
what hairstyle, popular among guys around 1999 to 2001, especially boy band members, involved bleaching the tips of spiked hair and a light blonde color?
There's a name for it?
There is.
Hell yeah, there's a name for it. I'm offended. Mostly
I
'cause
need
had
options.
it.
I haven't.
So
I
did
have
I.
a guess.
Yeah. I'll bet you I could find a photo. Hold on.
I totally, when I was
Text my
in middle
mom.
school in 8th grade, I totally had my boyfriend at the time over and we dyed his hair with my friend in our
Yep.
kitchen. I was
Yep.
like, yeah.
What is that called?
I mean, I have a guess, but I'm worried now because it
Shoot.
just sounds like
Shoot.
frosted tips, but go, I don't.
Frosted
The
tips.
tips.
Okay, I was like,
Yep.
that's what
We
I
call
That's what it
them
is.
frosted mini wheats.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't know there was a name, just frosted tips.
My high school girlfriend, who I later married, was 'cause I married everybody for pretty much, as that was my pattern for a while.
Nick loves marriage.
High school girlfriend / landscaper.
If you've never been married
She
to
was
Nick, it's because he hates you.
Yes,
It's because you didn't ask.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, she was a cosmologist.
Cosmetologist.
Cosmonaut. That's what it was.
She went into space for the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had the frosted tips.
Nice.
I pulled it off.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet
I
you
believe
did.
it.
Hell yeah. Frosted tips.
I can't see Jim with.
Oh, I had
mean, I
frosted
kind of
tips.
can because you'd look like Sugar Ray.
Great. Yes. Thank you.
With
did.
with the lip ring.
Yeah.
Let's not forget the
With
lip
the-
ring.
I gotta
Oh,
look up
that's
Sugar Ray to
just
see if
horrible.
I misremember.
I did not have tips frosted with the lip ring. Got the lip ring freshman year of college.
Oh.
And frosted tips was probably sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
So everybody was doing it.
Jacob.
No, I never had frosted tips.
Okay.
Have you ever
What was
frosted
your
your tip, though?
What was your hairstyle? Did you
So you've
always
never
have long
made
hair?
love to a snowman?
No, never did. What, like high school? It was always like kind of shaggy. My hair's always grown really fast.
Oh, okay.
So it's always like I've never really been super
You ever
hardcore
gotten a
about upkeep.
perm? I feel like you could rock a perm.
I've never gotten a perm. I've curled my hair several times,
Oh,
but never
that's
like
fun.
full on perm.
Cornrows.
Definitely, that's
Yeah.
Yeah. I figured.
yeah.
All
You
right.
went through a phase.
The Apple.
No, it didn't happen regularly, but it's definitely happened.
The Apple iPod, a portable music player that helped revolutionize how people stored and listened to music, was
True.
unveiled
Unveiled.
in October of which year?
Well, this is called
What?
Y2K. So it's going to be 2000.
Oh,
which
this
is
is
why
the
it's a
first
dumb
iPod.
question.
Is that
Yes.
what we're guessing?
First iPod.
Jesus.
Didn't the iPhone get revealed in? No, not
iPhone was
2000.
like 06. So,
Oh, was it?
Uh-huh.
I think it was,
Okay.
wasn't it later than that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it was right around there.
6 or 7
Yeah.
maybe.
I don't know. Give me options.
iPod.
99, 2000,
There you
2001, or
Yeah.
2002.
Get
I would like
Shit.
to use a 50-50 and eliminate two of those possible choices.
Okay, I'm going to eliminate the right one, and I'll give you two wrong choices.
That's fine. Whatever I can get.
yeah, 99 to 2002.
I will
This is
say
a hard one. Gee,
That is a
hard
really
one.
hard
that is. Yeah, I mean, fuck yeah, it is.
I mean, the
Whitney got
chalk is
frosted tips.
Yeah, she did.
You want a hint?
Yes.
You said you'd never forget.
Oh,
1999, Prince.
Yes, there you go.
Yep.
It is. Yeah. A day that shall live in infamy. Yeah.
2001.
2001
A
is
space
correct.
odyssey. Most interesting thing that happened that year.
Okay, Jim. Which iconic mobile phone introduced in the year 2000 became
Ah, shit.
famous for its durability
Oh, you know
and the
this.
game Snake 2?
You know this.
Oh, okay.
If you don't, you need to get the fuck out of this
I know
room.
the brand, but I wonder if that counts.
What's the
Yeah.
brand?
I'm going with the Nokia.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
enough to
wait.
win
Is
it?
there numbers behind it?
Because I'll bet you
There
it's
are
going to be
numbers behind it.
It's going to be like the
Okay,
Nokia
okay.
T1000 or some
Yeah.
bullshit. All right, give me
Oh.
options then if Nokia's not enough.
The Nokia 3310.
Oh, gee.
The Nokia
God
3311.
damn it!
The Nokia
Shit,
3312.
you asshole.
The Nokia 3313.
Frosted
Thank you, Nick, for this redemption.
By the way,
kind of
are not
bullshit?
the options that Emma gave, but they're the options we're going to go with.
Ah, you son of a bitch!
What were
My
the other?
anniversary
Damn
gift.
you!
What were the other three
The
options?
ones Emma put in here were the Motorola Razr V3, the BlackBerry 850, or the Sony Ericsson T68i.
I'll tell you this right now, Jim.
Doing 4 Nokia.
I had one of these phones.
Oh yeah,
I did too.
I have
brick.
no idea what it's called.
I didn't even remember it was a
little
Nokia, but I know I had it.
I knew it was a Nokia.
Indestructible. It was so good. All right, so
It
they're
was
all
great.
Nokia 33 something something.
Yep.
I'll take the first one.
3310?
Yeah.
No, that's not it.
Correct.
Yeah, because he had to make up the rest, so I figured he had to
Yeah.
start with the only one that was right.
Correct.
You see, you don't have to know the answer; you just
You
have to
don't
know
know
Nick.
Nick.
That's it.
Damn it. Didn't we
get
play a
him.
game like that
Yeah.
once where you just had
You
to
have
read like
guess
each
from-
other? I'm
yeah,
like, shit.
just read him; you'll get it right. All right, Jim's in the lead. Last question: brain spotting and trauma from Kathy.
Oh, good. I thought you said Train Spotting.
Yes.
I thought we were just going to discuss the film Train Spotting.
I mean, that's relevant.
Well, we're on the right track.
Thank you so
See, I see what you
much
did there.
for the helpful information about losing a client to suicide. Very helpful. And I listened to my letter this morning. I wonder if I should tighten up on my professional boundaries. LOL, fuck my life. Okay, real question. I work in an inpatient substance abuse treatment facility. Traumatic experiences are prevalent when it comes to helping people with substance abuse. Although I believe in a holistic approach where I can use multiple modalities, I'm not an expert by any means. Can Whitney share more about brain spotting and how that is used to help clients with PTSD? Thank you kindly. Fuck me sideways and twice backwards, a.k.a. Kathy. It would have been funny if it was a.k.a. Mom.
I don't know what the Patreon level is for that, but we got to check that out.
There's a number, Kathy.
Oh my gosh. Her letter implies that I am a expert. So
And
that's fine.
sideways
You
fun.
brought it up.
You're going to have to
I
pretend to be
know.
now.
You
I
brought
know.
up.
Well,
I've heard a lot about brain spotting, and I think
Yeah.
I've heard about the technique.
yeah.
So what is this? What is brain spotting?
So Brainspotting was created, or I guess developed by David Grand, and he got it from EMDR.
Okay.
So
it started with
not
EMDR.
long
The
ago.
TV show?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Oh.
EMDR, the eye movement
This guy and George
desensitization.
Clooney.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, just
All right.
in case there's new listeners.
Or me.
Okay, thanks,
or
Jacob. Okay. But in EMDR, it's a lot of bilateral movement
Yeah.
with your eyes. And so you're tracking, usually it's a light beam or a laser, I think some people use.
Okay.
And basically your brain, your eyes are absorbing what it's seeing, and it's being interpreted by your brain. So it's hitting on these parts of your brain that have been through trauma, like the mid part of your brain, where we are trying to protect ourselves when we go through trauma. So it kind of lives in there, and we don't always remember. That's why some people talk about like not remembering what they've been through. But we still have the effects of it. Like we still might have panic attacks, or our body's responding to certain things and we don't know why. So when we talk about PTSD, this comes into play there. So brain spotting, this guy, David Grand, he was working through EMDR with his clients, and he realized that as their eyes were tracking back and forth, they would sometimes like, oh gosh, what's the word? It would like wobble or freeze.
Okay.
And so he was like, what's up with that? So he would sit with it with his clients. And that's where kind of brain spotting was born, because it's kind of like picking a spot on your brain when your eyes are moving and sitting with that. So
your eyes kind of glitching out for a second in the
little bit.
movement, and he's like,
well,
oh,
more like
that's-
your brain, I guess.
Yeah,
but
like,
your
let's
eyes
keep
are
you there.
Yes.
Okay.
So your clinician is noticing
Okay.
like how you're responding to this moment. So instead of doing the bilateral stimulation, they will just have one point. And so what I've read about it is that a therapist can use either a like spot on your screen or even their fingers just to point to different areas. And actually, I attended an EMDR conference like years and years ago when it was kind of becoming a new thing. And did this in the conference because it was before 2020, so we had in-person conferences. Jim's goal.
Yeah.
That's one of your
One
goals
day.
on your list.
I got a few more months left.
But showing up to that, they kind of asked us,
It's going to
think
be
of...
amazing if he doesn't get any of that list done.
I know.
Of course he's not going to.
I would
I've
have
been
bet
working
that
on
he
my
would have,
pull-up.
I
like,
almost finished the Quentin Tarantino movies. I got a few.
I would have bet that he would finish like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Movies or
I'll take the under.
Clearly, and
We
clearly
need to
you're
be
right.
making bets on this.
I got time.
I got plenty of
I got
time.
plenty of
The
time.
only reason he's going to finish it is if we remind him on here.
Yeah.
I do forget until
I
you guys
remember
bring
on
it
the
back
on the
up.
very last day he's going to be watching Pulp Fiction while riding
a dolphin.
a dolphin.
Yeah,
It's on his case.
trying
like
to do
water-
a chin up. Yeah, I'll get him.
I know. So yeah, basically Brainspotting, the clinicians working through identifying where you kind of stop and pause because that's telling them information. So once you find that spot, it's like a target spot, then they're trying to process with you and ask you like, what did you notice? What did you feel? What my understanding is that you don't even have to relive the trauma. They're not asking you to like dig up this memory and share it like some other therapies or modalities. It's more like just getting in touch with what your brain is physically dealing with, which is why I think it's kind of cool. It's like very different.
What's the experience, not necessarily what's the trigger.
Right.
Okay.
How can we just stabilize our central nervous
There
system
you
a little
go.
bit,
And
right?
then you're focused a
Okay.
lot more on like grounding and like processing this, which is useful in the now. Okay.
Yeah, some of the benefits that I read about too are that it's quicker. It can be quicker than traditional therapies, and also it doesn't have to involve a lot of talk therapy. So if there's some clients who just don't want to, they have a hard time sharing. Like even with a
Interesting.
therapist,
Yeah.
then they can kind of go into therapy and have this experience and still be healing and improving without having to talk through all of their issues.
There's
or their
some
trauma.
value to that. I
And
like that.
what percentage of this therapy would you say, including 0%, what percentage of this therapy would you say is hooey?
I guess
How much
I
the
haven't.
bullshit?
Yeah, looked into like hardcore studies just to be really honest.
But
to
you're
see.
interested in it.
I am very interested in it because I like that it is a little more.
It's certainly interesting.
What is the word I'm trying to say? Like hands-on,
Tangible.
Tangible,
Yeah,
that's
kinda
a good
kinetic.
word.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
let's comment on the science for a second because
Yeah.
like I do think that there's a lot here to figure out because there's definitely, as there are with all things, even CBT has these people that overhype it, right? And they're swearing allegiance to it, and if you question it's a form of religion to them, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I definitely have seen a little bit more of the woo-woo people, gravitating into the MDR camp and now the brain spotting camp. It's new, it's sexy, it's exciting, it's got an air of mystery to it.
Sure.
There's this sort of like invisibility thing that's happening, but maybe not happening, and it's all happening in the brain. And like none of this can be like validated by the fMRI machine, but like sure, hypothetically, you're describing different parts of the brain, and why not? That makes some sense, and the eye movement, and it's fine. But like when you look into the science of it, the research that I've seen basically says, look, what works about EMDR is not new. And what's new about EMDR, we've not seen objectively that would work.
Yeah.
But there is value to it. And like that statement, I think, can be scientifically true. And yet I would still completely endorse using brain spotting or EMDR. And one reason why, especially at a rehab level, what the writer's talking about here, fuck me sideways and twice up and down or something.
I was curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
like being
yeah.
inpatient.
I think she
with,
wants it. I
yeah,
think she's
yeah.
just dying to get. Not the name. Oh, you mean like the inpatient situation? Yeah, I think that the
She definitely
inpatient
wants
thing.
that,
I think she's
given.
clearly,
Yeah.
she's clearly trying
No
to get
question there.
train ran here. But no, like train spotting.
And we made it full circle.
There it is. Is that the title?
I found it. Episode title. Oh yeah, we got to write that down. But no, like on this point about in inpatient, I like it because a lot of times what I'll do in inpatient, if I know I'm going to have them for a while, I like doing trauma timelines, and I like having some group work that is starting to get into this. But it can be a heavy lift, and sometimes like we're not going to get. I mean, you're going to get more attention in inpatient than you will in most places. So if you're decompensating or regressing with that, I'm kind of glad we're doing it here, and I think there's value to that. But what I like about brain spotting and EMDR is that it gives somebody something physical that they're doing in this process. And it's not, especially brain spotting, it's not necessarily trying to drill down and get you to reprocess the memory itself. it's very comfortable with the effect of the memory and you just grappling with that in a conscious way.
It's kind of like desensitizing is how I see it a little bit.
I like that. And I think it gives you a way to sort of quote unquote metabolize this energy,
Yes.
but also in this new tangible physical way, which I definitely think there's a lot of value to. I don't know that I would completely find myself believing wholesale the theory that your eye is having a jitter and this implies something. I don't know. Maybe subconsciously, if I'm sitting here telling you a story about my childhood and my dad and like some bad stories I've got, at some point you probably could pick up a physical tremor or something.
Right. There's going to be like your blink rate. There's going to be all kinds of things.
Something's
going to
give it away. I mean, we know galvanic responses have been there since fucking Rogers, so like this is old news.
Yeah.
And if the eyeball twitches and gives away something as you're like carefully moving across a visual plane, I wouldn't be surprised by that. And if that's one more way to indicate something and you've got patient buy-in and they're like, that's fine. Like, did my eye jitter? Okay, I'll go deeper on that. And they're just like buying in on this and like, yes, let me just participate. Great. And I could totally see that being valuable in an inpatient setting.
I will tell you one of the personal negatives that I feel like I've heard from other clinicians just kind of out in the community is that they will make like a side comment when we're talking about EMDR, saying some version of like, well, it's great too because like your client's doing a lot of the work.
Oh, that.
And you're not, because that's true.
It's a weird thing to say.
But I'm like, why are
it's
we?
icky.
Yeah.
I had
you
a
should
therapist
just be
say that
sitting
to me
in.
too.
You should still be present. I don't care if you're not actively talking. Like that's their time.
I had a therapist say that to me, and I just remember
it's like
my respectometer just cratered.
It's
he was
like in my gut.
I love EMDR, and I was waiting for him to explain to me like lives changed and stuff. And he's like, it's so easy. I mean, I just give them like the paddles, and they just talk, and I'm basically just monitoring them.
Yes,
and I'm like, what the
I've heard
fuck?
that before too.
This is dumb. Like, really? You think that's gonna come the fuck on?
I know, so I don't
that
like
can
that.
Get icky.
I've heard
in
that
the hands
before.
of a good therapist, though.
Yes.
Even a shitty therapy is effective, which is why we need to train great therapists and do theory second.
Yeah. I will say I last week met with a new therapist for myself for the first time.
Oh, good.
And they mentioned in their bio and in our consultation that they mainly do talk therapy, but they are becoming trained in brain spotting. So that's, I don't know if I mentioned that last week, but that's why it's been on my radar a little bit more because I was already very intrigued by it. I think exactly how you just described it, Jim, is what intrigues me about it. I'm like, I'm not totally sold. It's like horoscopes.
It's one of those things that's like, I don't need it to be...
Speaking of the respectometer, there it is.
I don't need it to be the hardcore.
Let me find
science.
my crystal.
I'm just saying, Peter's a Virgo, and
such a Virgo
like
thing.
A Virgo.
His hats.
And Aries.
You know how those Virgos like their hats and their golden shoes.
Yeah,
I don't need it to be the hardcorest of science. I don't even need it to have a really great plausible explanation. I'm fine with a pretty thin justification of if you have trauma, you're going to somehow exhibit that. Yeah. And we're looking for any tells we can to dig a little deeper. Mm-hmm. Will you play along with this?
Yes.
Like, yeah. Like, that's great.
Right.
Like,
so, yeah, she brought that up to me, and without, I'm obviously not going to share any of my traumas on here, but I would definitely love to check in. Will you be my therapist? But no, I would love to. I mean, if we eventually get into that, I would definitely love to share just that experience for me personally.
Yeah.
Oh, because when I did that training on EMDR, they did a little mini, it seemed more like brain spotting to me because they pointed all over. It wasn't just this, bilateral consistent eye movement thing. And they were not watching, sorry. It was actually more like they were asking the client, like, where do you feel? Like, as I point, what do you feel the most in your body?
Oh, okay. Somatic.
And so then that's where they'd be like, oh my gosh, like there, when I looked like up to the right, that's where like when all my stuff starts coming to the surface. So they would hone in on that. So it was a little bit like that, which was kind of interesting.
I've heard some comments on this bundle of actions. So like your brain spotting, your EMDR, your somatic therapy, the where do you feel the anxiety, where do you feel the trauma. And I think what I've found the most arguable as a good idea about these and the most attractive to me is when they talk about how right, wrong, or indifferent, these approaches externalize some of the therapy process so that it isn't all just happening in this invisible plane inside of you that's immeasurable, but you're being asked to check in on your body.
Yeah.
You're being asked to think. You're being asked to move and
you have to be present to follow. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that also kind of, it helps because if trauma is like this very like bright light that you're staring right into, these techniques kind of allow that light to bounce off the wall a little, and you're not staring right into it.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about this thing that's really difficult, that is by definition of trauma, indescribable. It's very hard for me to talk about and stare right into, but you're giving me something else to think about while I'm doing this. Yeah. I'm moving my eyes at your request and waiting for you to tell me that something's happening.
Let your guard down
I'm
a little.
occasionally scanning my body and asking, oh, what did my left knee just feel?
Yeah.
You know, and like all of that, I think allows us to just kind of blunt the force of like engaging with your trauma head on, which I think for a lot of people is a great way to approach it.
I do want to share as well, I've had other clinicians try this with clients who are somewhat high functioning, but on the spectrum. And that does not go very well, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, so eye contact or eye tracing stuff is just not their jam usually. So just throwing that out there. You're not a failure if you think, oh my gosh, that would never work for me. That's okay. There's just different therapies out there for you. And if you're a clinician, please don't try and force that with a client that may not do well with eye contact or things like that. So
yeah. Good thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Any fear, Nick, about like trauma work at an inpatient setting?
Yes.
He's so scared.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're so fragile, you know? It's like, oh, I don't know.
In some cases, there's pros and cons. The pros of addressing trauma in a residential setting is that you do the session and they're still within your care afterwards. Right. So if throughout the day you notice that they start to decompensate or something like that, you're right there.
Yeah.
You can address it. You can bring it back in. We can, they're still in a safe environment as opposed to on an outpatient level, like we just tear open this wound, especially if we're talking about drug and alcohol treatment.
Yeah.
You tear open this wound and then you're like, all right, see you next week.
Yeah, stay sober.
Yeah. It's like, that's going to be really tough. So it is nice in that sense. Now, the downside, the thing that you need to look out for is how much time are you going to have with them?
Yeah.
And will you be able to maintain this relationship with this client after they have transitioned out into a lower level of care?
Right.
If not, then that's going to be dangerous. Like there are some places that I've worked, that you've worked as well, where we have these folks for residential treatment because they came from out of state.
Yeah.
And when they leave, they're going back to Georgia, Kentucky, or wherever they came from. And so you're a little more hesitant about like how deep are we wanting to tear open these wounds, knowing that we're just going to have to put them on a plane in 2 weeks and send them across country to somebody else who may or may not know what we've gotten into with them.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to weigh those options.
Yeah, you do. And it's tough because, the bullets have to be pulled out. I mean, that work does have to happen, but it's very case by case because sometimes you look at it and go, okay, I think if we start to open this, we will not close this wound in the time that we have together. Let's focus on coping. That's probably the best use, and relapse prevention. And then hopefully a follow-up, and stepping down levels of care. But Kathy, great question. This is fun to have other therapists write in and kind of give us a chance to nerd out about theory and approach and levels of care. And we really appreciate that. I still am flabbergasted that other professionals listen to this show. I just honestly don't think anybody should be listening to this show.
Kathy, right back in when you want more information on ASAM Criteria 4th edition.
That's, yeah, you actually should do a deep dive on that because you did the old ASAM.
Yeah.
I don't think you've done an updated one.
No.
Yeah.
And it's a little complicated.
Do we all have to be using it? Like,
yes.
Life coaches don't.
I mean, I do. I just wanted to make sure everybody
life coaches,
was.
Yeah.
What's the rules of life coaching?
Life coaches do what we want.
That's right. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are wrapping up the show. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Robert Brownie, Junior Mintz, Kayla Lansbury, Kevin Chamberlain, Ben Stanley, Adam Hathaway, Dan Martin, Lib, Heyo, and Andrew Langmead. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, head on over to patreon.com/therapy.
That's it.
And sign up to become a Theraproducer.
There we go. I think one year we should just start saying random ass websites as the official one, and then just listeners have to buy that website as fast as possible and point it to Patreon, which actually has happened in our
Head
past.
on over to Nike.com.
MichaelJordan.com. That happened with our Pod Therapy bait shop. Like we jokingly called it the Pod Therapy Bait Shop and never took the time to buy that URL. So the listeners did, and then pointed it toward the store.
Or
and then we changed it.
podtherapy.com.
Yeah, then we changed podtherapy.com, which was pointed to a picture of Jacob for about a year and a half.
Yeah, it was great.
It now points to the website.
I'm still mad about that.
Yeah, so but feel free, buy more websites. More trivia, or are we good to wrap?
Oh, we're good to wrap.
All right, good. I'll just take the W.
It's getting late.
Yes,
I think I won one finally.
I think
Gotta
so.
rub it in.
I won.
I think
No.
Whitney got it.
Oh, come
Yeah.
Frosted tips.
Frosted tips.
Just the tips.
I got twos on all
That's
mine. 2
that's
points.
Whitney's nickname.
Frosted tips.
Frosted tips.
Yeah, kind of. She's got the blonde going
Sure.
on.
Twos across the board.
There it is. As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy. You can get that extended show ad-free a day early, as well as enjoy our live chat, Discord community, and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And we've got some new friends that have joined us at patreon.com/therapy. Who's new to the Thera party, Nick?
We got 2 new Therapods. Joshua Viseo,
Hey.
I think. I'm going to say that I think those double L's are a yo. So Joshua
Nice.
Viseo.
Nice.
Way to take
I
a
think-
chance, Nick.
Yep. And John Henry Strong. I'll take
Did you
another
pronounce that
chance.
right?
Okay.
I'll take another chance. I don't know John Henry Strong,
Okay.
but I'll bet he's a guy you don't want to fuck with.
I don't think he's
just-
fucked.
from the
That
name.
name?
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
get
That name's good.
like
Yeah.
if we still built railroads,
Yeah.
he's definitely
So,
a guy that built
Yeah.
a
When
railroad.
John Henry joined the Discord, his first, like when you join, it just joins as whatever your natural Discord name is. It said John Henry.
Wasn't John Henry just a railroad builder?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think that's why I made the connection.
I think
Yeah.
so.
And then he changed his name immediately in the Discord to some reference to railroads and like something like that. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
and like,
there we go.
Yeah. So
I think this
agreed.
guy's just a fan of railroads.
It might be that.
John
Perfect
Henry.
for a
Might
train
be
spotting
that.
episode.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I
maybe
don't think
got
he's a
him all
badass.
wrong.
I think he's a hugger.
Oh.
I'll bet
Oh,
maybe
big
I
teddy
think he's a
bear?
hugger.
he's
Yeah.
a model railroader.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
I had a model railroad as a
I
kid.
did too. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I just
yeah.
a model railroader.
Yeah.
I mean, you were thinking
Oh.
sex, right? That's what I was thinking.
I'm like, Nick, and he's
He's a
like,
hugger.
yeah.
Railroad the shit out of those models.
A model
That does
citizen,
sound-
model
Yeah.
railroader.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going.
Now
Like,
that I hear it.
Delightful. Delightful.
Nick's like, yeah, the models.
get John
I'm
Henry
like,
and
oh,
Kathy
okay.
together. It's all going to work
Yeah.
out. Thank you, new friends who have joined us. We do appreciate you, and we'd like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much they give till it hurts. The Thera partners, Dirty B and Pickett. And we want to thank our bosses, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club. The Thera producers, thank you, Jake Schneider, Myra, Robert Brownie, Jr. Mint, Smitty Scoop, Richard fucking Macy, Jody Schneider, Malia, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Dan Martin, Sammy Scoop, Slurpy Kai, motherfucker, Ben Stanley, Slapping Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Oscar Swanrose, Paris, A Sunny Boy, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Sandra McWaffle, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon, Gurgy, Hey Yo, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Polygon, Emma and Tonka, Alina, Cody the Lorian Guy, Brady Malachek, Chick Fellatio, Gabriel Adame, and Sean Sutherland.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited
And
why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
Well, that's all the time we got for this week's session. We want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast, and thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. But remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share the episode with the world. You can tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, /PodTherapy on Facebook and Blue Sky. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question to the show?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, actually
it, chicken.
We
Yeah.
we're running out of questions. Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com, or now click the link at the end of the episode to be taken to our anonymous Google form. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Whitney.
I'm Jim.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your appointment next week.
Frosted Tips.
Yeah.
Whitney
I should have said that.
Frosted Tips. Is that what I said the episode title was, or did we pick something else?
Frosted tips.
I don't
guess
care.
that's
It
the
was
best we can
Human
do.
Best.
Centipede? That might have
Yeah.
been it.
That was it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.